We're going to be continuing the concept of emunah and the attain that we discussed from last week to clarify a couple of points. There's some fascinating ideas. We'll see what we can get to tonight in this concept of really having trust within Hashem. And the question that is asked is, if I just say Hashem is going to handle everything, is that enough? Do I need to do Torah and mitzvos? How does that fit into the game?
Sometimes it is.
That's the question. The question is going to be, is that enough? Is that what bitachon is actually all about? So, in this concept over here, we actually have somewhat of a dispute. We'll start off in trying to understand what bitachon is when it comes to this midah. Remember, it's a character trait of us expressing what emunah, what our belief in Hashem is, to know that Hashem can help us in all things. So I know that He can help me. The question is, of course, going to be, is He going to? So therefore He says, He quotes the first is the Chazon Ish. The Chazon Ish writes the following. When a person says, and he's in a difficult time, and he says, Hashem Yazar, Hashem is going to help, and he knows that nothing bad is going to happen, says the Chazon Ish, that's a mistake. What? Hashem Yazar. Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough for me to say Hashem's going to help? So says the Chazon Ish, it's not enough. How do you know for sure that Hashem's going to help? Who says? Right? So the Chazon Ish presents the first opinion. And the first opinion over here is, just because the fact that Hashem can, doesn't necessarily mean that He will. So you said Hashem Yazor. We usually say, when we say Hashem Yazor, we say that it means like, may Hashem help. But no, when a person says Hashem Yazor, Hashem will help, says who? That's what the Chazon Ish's question is. And therefore he says, what do you mean? People don't have judgments, they have to pay back in this world? If let's say you do a million things wrong and then something bad, Hashem Yazor, boom, I got the magic, it's an abracadabra, is that going to work? So therefore the Chazon Ish explains that bitachon is not just simply that Hashem is going to make it happen for me. He says it's hanhagas emunah l'maisa, it's the practicality of having appropriate emunah. And therefore, he says as follows, what is emunah? Ra'ayon mufshati v'bitachon hu milchan shel emunah. Bitachon is ultimately the test of emunah. Haboteach eino choshesh min asviros v'afilu goses v'adakash baruch lefaso. The one who is certainly trusting of Hashem is not worried or he's not concerned with, in this case over here, what potential things could be. Hashem can help me if I'm worthy of being helped at that moment, but there's no guarantee that He's going to help carte blanche whenever we want it to be. Because otherwise, then I don't have free will. Well, maybe you could say I have some level of free will, but I can do what I want, and therefore just snap my fingers, Hashem is going to help me, and everything's going to be okay. Unless, of course, you tell me, wait a minute, not everybody feels that way. Not everybody feels like Hashem is going to help. So there is a level of bitachon, a level of free will that's actually required over here in this level of trust. But it says the Chazon Ish the following. It's a mistake that people think that bitachon is just simply that Hashem is going to do it right. B'chol mikra shepogesh adam, in any scenario that a person encounters, and in that scenario is two potentialities for the future. Shnei drachim, achas tova, one's good, velo shni, and the other one's not good. When you're faced with two potential scenarios, ki betach yatov, he's certain that it's going to be good, v'im mistapik v'choshish ala hefach hatov, but if he's not sure, and he's concerned that maybe bad will come, hu michus bitachon, maybe this person is lacking a sense of bitachon. Right? A person think of the worst could potentially happen, maybe he's lacking bitachon. Vein harazu bitachon nechona. This is not correct, he says. Just because a person thinks that there's good and bad potential, and he thinks that maybe bad may occur, that doesn't mean a person is lacking in his bitachon. Shekoshlo is bar benevur gorla asid ein asin mucha. You're not a fortune teller. You don't know what the future is going to be. So the future is not guaranteed. Just because you're certain, does your certainty actually define what's going to happen over here? Who knows what God's will is? So says the Chazon Ish, and again, this is view number one. View number two is going to be on the other side of the coin over here. But view number one is, just because you say things are going to be okay, there's no guarantee that it's going to be okay. And the fact is, there are multiple choices that you have available. So the fact that you may say it could be that it's not going to work out, it could be something bad will happen, it doesn't mean we're opening up our mouth to it and saying it, but let's say you imagine a person thinks it, says the Chazon Ish, we're not going to say that is a lack of bitachon for an individual. Aval inyan ha-bitachon, so says the Chazon Ish, so then what is it? What is bitachon? Ha'amun she'ein mikra b'olam, to know that there is no such thing as coincidence that exists in the world, and anything that happens within this world, everything is coming from Hashem. That is what he's saying is bitachon is. Okay, so now he's saying that's in a practical way. So the practical way is that whenever you're faced with something, even something that's potentially bad going to be, say, it's going to be Hashem's will. I want it to be good. Whatever it's going to be is going to be Hashem's will. When a person is faced with a scenario, that according to the regular ways of the world, it's possible that some danger will be from a natural occurrence. And naturally a person would be afraid. The kesher rucho, and therefore a person is going to become afraid in this whole thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's lacking emunah. And therefore I'm just going to skip it then at the bottom. V'she'ein lefan of netila ra yoter netila tova inyan zekro midas habitachon. When there's no other way to look at it. When there's equal opportunity for it to be good, just as equal opportunity for it to be bad. So inyan zekro midas habitachon. When you have the opportunity to say, okay, it could go either way. Hashem is in charge of this. This is what it's going to be. On this level of bitachon, a person should have his place of emunah. Even if it means to think that maybe something bad is going to be. But I have emunah in Hashem, that Hashem has a plan for this, whatever it may be. That's what the Chazon Ish is saying over here. And that his heart is awakened to realize that nothing is happening out of the blue. Nothing's happening for no apparent reason whatsoever. There's nothing that is considered happenstance or coincidence. Everything is coming from Hashem. So what sounds like what the Chazon Ish is telling us over here, that even if a person has bitachon, even if a person is strong in his bitachon, his bitachon, his trust in Hashem does not guarantee that he will have the positive outcome that he, of course, hopes for. Salvation comes from your actions of what you're actually worthy for. If a person is worthy, or if Chas Hashem is not worthy. So that is the view. Number one is the Chazon Ish, what we're doing for tonight. The Chazon Ish's view, it's a pretty stark view, and it tells us over here that bitachon is knowing that whatever Hashem chooses, if that's part of the plan, there will not be any coincidence that exists in the world, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be 100% okay. That is the Chazon Ish. So many people may take this line and say, okay, so therefore when I think negatively about all the bad things that could potentially happen, is that okay? So remember, we discussed already last week that fear is something that you're not allowed to have except when it comes to fearing Hashem and study of Torah. But the fear, the worst that's going to happen, there's not a mitzvah that we have in the Torah for that, and therefore there's no benefit a person actually gains from that, and it would be prohibitive for a person to do that. But to know that there are two options, and I'm not sure which one to take, and I'm not sure what Hashem is going to be, I can't guarantee myself, says the Chazon Ish, it's going to be that way. We're going to see a little bit later the other views, and many, many other views that are going to say it's not true, but you're going to have, well, we're not going to say it's not true, the other views will tell us that if a person has tremendous trust that things will go right, then Hashem will be able to change that for the individual. So we'll see those views later, but this is the view of the Chazon Ish. Question?